This video is not for everyone. It is meant to reach that woman that God has specifically chosen this message for today. He's telling you that it is time, just like Lot and his family, it is time for you to leave the crowd. If you've been feeling like you're called for something higher, your spirit is restless where you are, if the noise around you is beginning to clash with that quiet tug in your soul, this video is for you. God has been pressing this in my heart for some time now, and I want to share it with you in this video, and that's why it is titled that you should leave the crowd. It is time for you to leave the crowd. You have been with the crowd all your life, sis. It is time, because if you don't leave the crowd now, you will not be able to leave them later, and a lot of things are going to go wrong in your call, your purpose, your destiny, which you will find it really difficult to recover from. This video is not a phrase, this video is not a clickbait to get some views. This is a serious business. It's a divine call, it's a soul call, and a heart whisper. And if you have been struggling to fit in, to be liked, to stay visible in places that you have outgrown, this message will set you free. So you may want to get you some water, keep it by the side, get you a pen and a paper, because you would need to jot things down. Hey sis, welcome back to my channel. It's Nalo Ifoma. Please click the subscribe button, like and share this video. You know, there is something really comforting about the crowd. At least you're not alone in this. At least there are other people. At least, not everyone is bad. That these people are not taking their life seriously doesn't mean like it's bad. So, you are somehow comforting yourself in a lie. But down within your spirit, you know that you have outgrown this season, this place. You have outgrown this relationship. You have outgrown this level of financial, your financial level. You have outgrown this character, this habit. You have outgrown this. You need an upgrade, not just any upgrade, but an upgrade that is aligned with what your divine call and what God is telling you per season and per time. In a crowd, you blend in. In a crowd, you're not questioned. In a crowd, you're not stretched. And in a crowd, you feel very safe. It's safety that leads to your destruction. The crowd will keep clapping for you. The crowd loves the broken version of you until you get on that journey of healing. This is one of the things I share with the women at the Prinduman, our femininity coaching program, that you would blend well, feel safe, feel comfortable in the crowd until you begin to decide to take a different route, until you begin to point it to their faces that you are growing, and their inability to grow or their lack of growth is being shown through your growth. And that's when you begin to see the crowd that used to love you, that used to clap for you, that used to be there for you, turn and become totally something different against you and towards you. Now, there is a danger to being a part of the crowd. The crowd keeps you average, I promise. You can't be a part of the 1% I shared in my video. You can't be a part of those 1% if you keep walking with the crowd. The crowd feeds your ego but starves you of your purpose. The crowd applauds your potential. You have great potential, but they panic at your progress when you begin to actually take actionable steps towards achieving, birthing those things in you, the potential within you. And if you're not careful, you will live a whole life performing for people that you were never even called to. So, my question for you now is, are you living for the crowd or for the call? If you remember the scripture that says that many are called but few are chosen, God never calls the crowd for a specific divine purpose, a specific divine instruction. And God hardly speaks to people when they are already in the noise that is found obviously in a crowd. God called Abraham alone. God called Moses while he was in hiding. God called David in the field. God called Mary in obscurity. God does his work outside the crowd. Living the crowd is lonely, but it is holy. It is uncomfortable, but it is transformational. If you want intimacy with God, clarity about your purpose, clarity about your relationship, who to end up getting married to, where to relocate, decisions about your destiny and life, healthy relationships, divine strategies, most times you just have to walk with God in solitude, not isolation. You've got to walk alone because separation brings elevation. Now let's be real. Leaving the crowd will certainly cost you. I promise. At first, it will feel as if you're not doing the right thing. At first, it will feel as if your world is empty. Of course, you're leaving the crowd to a place where you are called to come up hither. Leaving the crowd, you will lose friendships. People will misunderstand your silence. When you leave the crowd, they will mock your boundaries. When you leave the crowd, they will label your growth as pride. But hear me, obedience will always cost you something. But disobedience will cost you everything. You weren't created to be liked by everyone, which is why no matter how good you did or you do, you'll still find people who don't just like you. No matter how, Jesus came to die for the entire world, people still say they didn't ask him to die for them. People still spat at him and would prefer that they released a criminal for them than releasing Jesus for them. So you weren't created to be liked by everyone, but you were created to be a light to someone. And like lights don't blend in, they stand out. Now let me share 4 signs that God is actually calling you to exit. It can be the crowd, can be the noise in your relationship, the crowd can be the people that surround you, the crowd can be even your environment. Number one, you are now suddenly uncomfortable in a place that you were once comfortable in, a place you once felt safe. The jokes no longer feel funny, the conversations drain you, their presence it drains you. Your spirit is beginning to itch. Number two, your desires are shifting. The you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 3 years ago is no longer the you now. The things you desire are now shifting, they're evolving to higher realms. You are losing interest in those things that were once very paramount in your life. You are now craving more depth, more truth. You are done with the shallow surface level thinking, shallow surface level realities. You crave depth to things you actually know. You crave more truth. You crave a genuine alignment to your God given purpose, even if it's going to cost you people. Now, the third sign that God is actually calling you to exit and then to leave the crowd is that the isolation increases. People start distancing you not because you actually did anything bad, not because you've actually changed for the worse, but because your transformation, your growth is pointing out their darkness. And this darkness is not something they are actually ready to leave. They are not working, in the same frequency that you now walk. They do not have the revelation that you now have. So your light that is beginning to shine now is confronting their darkness. Number 4, God starts revealing your identity. One of the questions people ask most of the time, if not all the time, is how do I know my purpose? How do I walk in my purpose? How can I really know it? And it can be really, really confusing and it can be confusing, depressing when you really want to live a purposeful life but you have no clue what your purpose on earth is. So at this point, you begin to see yourself as heaven sees you, and you no longer tolerate what distorts and dishonors that image of God about you. As a feminine woman, leaving the crowd means that you stop proving and start being. The feminine woman operates well when she be in her becoming, in her being, than more than in her doing. Men are actually the ones that do more, but women be more, they receive more, because that's why we are receptive. At this point, you no longer dress to impress people, you are now dressing to express your essence. You don't chase love anymore, you attract love through your quiet confidence and radiant peace. Feminine power is not loud, it is grounded. There's this tangibility to feminine power. Leaving the crowd means you're no longer apologizing for your softness, for your warmth, for your sensitivity, your authenticity, your spirituality, your standards. Like you're no longer apologizing for the things that makes you a woman. Once you leave the crowd, your relationships begin to shift. You no longer feel desperate to be chosen. You now walk in that consciousness that you are already chosen. You now walk in the consciousness that you no longer chase emotionally unavailable men, and you're no longer trying to heal through romantic dramas. Women like that no longer entertain half love or counterfeit connection. It has to be something tangible, something deep, something real. This doesn't have to do, it has nothing to do with your age. It just has to do with you walking in that new consciousness, that new alignment, evolving at this new level. So leaving the crowd gives you that clarity of who you really are and who is really for you, and also those who were only there for you because of that version of you that they know better. There are people who really enjoy your company when you don't know any better. They always love it when they feel more superior than you, when they feel more like they have more than you. They always want you to always be under them. But the moment you begin to go through the path of personal growth and transformation, trying to align in your gut call and purpose, these people begin to feel like they begin to see your growth as pride. So now that we've talked about all of this, let us touch on the reward of separation. That's what's the reward of separating yourself from the crowd. One of the great reward is that God sends you alignment, divine friendships, kingdom opportunities, peace that doesn't come from people. You know, when Jesus talked about, I leave you with peace, peace that I give you, not the one the words gives. This is the kind of peace, God is going to give to you. And this is the kind of peace that the world doesn't have, which is why the world keep inventing new things, trying to find ways to fill that vacuum that can never be felt away from someone who is living a life of alignment in God's call, in God's will, and they're in their divine purpose. Now your life begins to make sense because it is yours and not just a performance. It's not a social media performance. It's not a perfect, script that you're reading out to impress people, to let people validate you. No, it is way beyond the shallow feeling of that. It is now depth in depth. It is painful and it is actually lonely, but your reward and destiny is on the other side of obedience. So as I wrap this section up, I want to ask you, sis, are you ready to leave the crowd? Are you ready to stop shrinking yourself? Stop complaining? Stop explaining? Are you ready to really stop the performance? God is calling you. Don't look back. So if you are ready, say this out loud with me. I choose to leave the crowd. I choose to take the call. Type it out in the comment section. I want to read your comments in the comment section. As I draw the curtain, says, if this video resonated with you, if God is actually talking to you from this video, please do not forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Share this with a woman that you know that really needs to go through this video, and a woman who is on her transformation, her transformative journey. Share it with them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe. God bless you. Bye.